Baruch Hashem, we are back in the introduction of the Siddur Zichron David, and we started to speak about the order of the worlds, and we started yesterday about the Ein Sof, right? And today we're starting with the concept of Tzimtzum. The Tzimtzum is the contraction, right? And basically we have the light of the infinity or Ein Sof that is filling all the existence of all the reality, and then the contraction is when Hashem decides to create the creation, so he's making space within the light, empty space, and that empty space is called the contraction. That process is called the Tzimtzum.
Again, please.
The beginning point is that everything is full of light, and then the beginning of the creation is contraction, that the light is contract to create an empty space, like a vacuum. Yeah, there's a space that is created that is like a vacuum of light. Yeah.
האור מרחיב ויוצר מקום. האור מתרחב ויוצר מקום.
מתרחב זה לא המילה הנכונה. ברוך. שהכל וידברו.
Amen.
I'll give it a parable from human relationship. Let's say you meet a person that speaks and speaks and speaks and speaks, doesn't give you space to say anything, right? If he wants to give you space to express yourself, so he needs to retreat, right? Hold his speech. So, and then by holding his speech, there's a certain vacuum, there's a certain space that is open up, and then you can say over whatever you have to say to fill in the space, right? Another example, let's say that we have instead of a room here, we have a mountain. You can't have a room inside of the mountain without taking out the soil, right? If you dig out the soil, you're creating a space, right? A cave. Then you can have a room, but when it's full, so there's no space for anything, right? Yeah. So when everything was full of the light of Hashem, so there was no space for anything. So Hashem is removing His light to create space that will allow the creation to be created.
So is that like, when that happens, is that like a person is feel like it's not a good place for a person to be in when there's Tzimtzum, like because Hashem is like His Shekhinah is not there, so like it's not in a.
Well, we don't have much choices. If everything would have left, if Hashem would have leave His light in its place, so there was no space for us, right? Our creation, by definition, we need space, right?
So I heard there's a certain saying like when somebody is feeling like scared or something, it's because there's a lack of they call it Tzimtzum. Is that this right use? If let's say he's not.
Yeah, but there's a twist on the same term, but like without getting to all kinds of twists and turns with it, just the simple thing is Hashem created space for the creation to be created within that. Okay. Good. So this is the first step of creation. Second step is the next paragraph here. It's called Adam Kadmon. Okay? In brackets, Yechida. What's the connection between Adam Kadmon and Yechidah? We're going to see. So, there is a concept that is called kav. Kav literally it means line. Line of light. It comes from Ein Sof into the space that is created. That line of light is called also Adam Kadmon. Okay? Why do we call that line Adam Kadmon? Because the line have a similar similarity to human figure. Okay? Now this is a problematic point, right? Because we say that there's no human figure, and lo guf and lo dmut guf, right? Everybody knows that. So this is like like one of the points that for this reason there was rabbis that said that most of the people shouldn't learn Kabbalah because they were afraid that when they will hear things like that, they will get confused and God forbid might go to like wrong directions. So I will want to clarify this point because it is a very, very significant point. Specifically today with what happened in the world, all of confusion. So, we know, and I said it many, many times in those classes, that all of the physical world is a manifestation of the spiritual realms.
Of the spiritual what?
Spiritual realms. Meimadim ruchanim. Okay, spiritual dimensions if you want. Now, another way to say that is basically saying the same thing, is that this world is a parable to the next dimension, that is the beginning of the spiritual realms, and then every dimension is another parable to the dimension that is above it. Okay? So now, let's say I have a chain of parables. Okay? I have the subject matter that you want to speak about, but I can't speak about it, so I'm giving it a parable, and the parable is also problematic, so I'm giving another parable to the parable, and then a parable to the parable to the parable, and then a parable 10 times. Yeah? So we went a little bit far from the original point, right? Yeah? Now, it says about Shlomo Melech that he had 3,000 parables, one after the other. Okay? That's about Shlomo Melech. Same thing we can say about all of those different expressions that we are speaking about here in the Kabbalah. So when we're speaking about something we describe as human figure, the worst mistake that a person can make is to take it literally and to say, this person, this rabbi said human figure, so now I know what it's talking about. It's talking about this. You have no idea what I'm talking about, because I'm just saying a parable, and you have to think about something that is outside of the parable. Yeah? Okay?
Like you have an example for this?
So let's give an example. Okay, it's a very simple example. There is a parable for the Torah that we say the Torah is sweeter than honey. Okay, so we use the parable of honey and to describe the Torah. Now let's say someone, he doesn't know what is Torah, and he takes the parable literally, so he will think that the Torah is some kind of a sweet liquid, like honey, right? Obviously, to us it sounds very stupid, right? But that's what it means to take a parable and to think about literally. So we understand, like for us, it's obvious that we just want to speak about a certain quality, that the Torah is sweet, but we can't, how can I explain to someone that he doesn't understand the sweetness of the Torah, the sweetness of the Torah? Somebody that never experienced the sweetness of the Torah, how can I describe to him that the Torah is sweet? So I'm telling him, you know what is honey? Yes. The honey is sweet? Yes. So like honey is sweet, Torah is even sweeter than honey. Okay. So if he knows what is the Torah, and he knows what is honey, so now you have a certain connection between the honey and the Torah. Right? But somebody that doesn't know what is Torah, and he just knows the honey, so from the parable, it will make the person to be all confused. Because now for sure he doesn't know what is the Torah. You have a whole wrong perception that he thinks that he knows what I'm speaking about. But it's totally off. Right? So this is why it's a hard task, because we're trying to describe something that we can't describe, because we don't have language, we don't have words to describe spiritual things, right? All the words that we have in the language is basically to describe physical, right? We don't have any words that are referring to spirituality. So all the words that we're using in the Kabbalah is parables. For example, we speak about the light of Hashem. What does it mean, the light? Like the light that we have here, this light? Obviously not. This is physical light. Right? So, but what can we say? Abundance? What does it mean, abundance? It's very hard, right? So all the language that we're using is language of parables. So I'm saying something, but I don't really mean what I'm saying. I'm just giving you a certain hint, certain clue. I'm saying something, and you can think about what I said, understand it, and then understand that that's not what I'm saying, and to try to figure out from there what really I'm saying. To make a certain jump, to take the concept that speaks about physicality and have it as something that is much more abstract, not physical. Again, it's a very hard point. It's a very hard point, and that's why, because it's so hard, so many people are preventing themselves to speak about it, because it's a hard one. But I'm trying to take those concepts and spend the time that is needed to explain them as much as possible. And Bezrat Hashem, working on it. You need the book. Fine. So let's continue. Okay. We call this body, even though it is entirely spiritual, only in comprehension of with the light inside of it, it can be referred to as body. Meaning, in other words, we know ourselves, more or less. We know something about ourselves. One of the things that most of the people know, and that was also the beginning point of this introduction here, is that we have body and we have soul. Right? So the external appearance of us is the physical body. Within our physical body, we have soul. Right? What is the soul? We don't know. Right? We can say part of Hashem, we can say all of what we said until now in this introduction. Right? And it's all true. But it's not really enough. Gives us a certain understanding, but it's not enough. Anyhow, the point of calling that line Adam Kadmon is to say that like we have something that we call body and something that is more internal, that is more abstract, that is the soul, so as in the highest realm, obviously it has nothing to do with physical body, but it has also that certain aspect of external and internal, that the external is more in the direction of body, even though it's very, very far, but in the direction of body, and the internal is more in the direction of soul. Okay? Yeah? I hope that you understand what I'm saying. Bezrat Hashem. Many different lights merge from the pores in his body, meaning like we have openings in our body, right? The eyes, the nostrils, the ears, mouth, so on. All of those different holes and pores of the skin, and so on. The pores of the skin, that there's some of them have air coming out of them, right? The beard and so on. Some of them don't. All of those different openings is let's say that that there was like a light coming out of them, meaning the internal light that is inside shines out through those openings. Yeah? We don't see that in the physical, but we can imagine something like that. Yeah? So in some similar way, in a very, very abstract way, in the highest realms, there is also something like that within that line of light that have the internal and external aspects. So the internal aspects shines out through the external aspect of it, and this light that appears outside of the line, that will be the next stage of creation of the worlds. Again, we have a line of light that comes out into the space that was created with the contraction. And that line of light for now have two aspects. The internal, that is more to the light side, and the external, that is more to the vessel's side. Okay? Then that vessel that we called Tzurat Adam, as if human shape, have openings. So you can instead of thinking about human body, you can just think about a pipe that have holes, if it's easier for you. And then there's the internal light that shines out through those holes, and that light that is expanding outside, surrounds that pipe, is the next stage of manifestation of the worlds, of the creation. How is that? You following? Or it's too abstract?
What it like comes out of the spaces in your body that has openings,
like we have openings in our body, so also the body of that very, very high level, which is nothing to do with the physical, also there, that vessel that we call Adam Kadmon have openings, and the light that shines out through those openings is creating the worlds.
And after it's coming out, it's creating a world, and this light coming through these holes and creating another world until our world.
Basically something like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. B'ezrat Hashem. Again, I'm not expecting that anyone will really be able to wrap his head around those concepts, because those concepts are very, very profound, very, very lofty, and it's not something that is easy to relate to. Okay? Because it's so high, it's very, very hard to relate to them. But even if even to hear about it first time, it will give you a benefit that afterwards, when you hear it more from like other places and more in length, expanding those concepts, it will be easier for you to digest them. Okay? But just do me a favor, don't make the mistake and think you understand what I'm saying. Okay? Leave it open. Don't make your mind, don't get to conclusions, leave it open. There is something like that. How exactly, what exactly, we don't know, we don't understand. We have some idea from whatever is written in the books, but not much more than that. Okay? Good. All the spiritual worlds are created from those lights, which we receive our sustenance, meaning everything comes from Hashem, everything comes from the infinity. Everything goes through this pipe, and the openings of the pipe that pours over the light, that light that comes out is bringing the sustenance to the lower worlds, to the lower dimensions. Okay? Yeah? The very first line of light that expanded and drew down from the infinity and Sof refers as the inner soul of all of the five worlds. Adam Kadmon is the highest world. Atzilut, Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya. Okay, those are the five worlds. There is places that you will hear about the four worlds without speaking about Adam Kadmon, probably because of this problem that I was expanding now and speaking in length. It's a hard concept to speak about.
When I heard about these things, they call it just Akka.
Ak.
Never Adam Kadmon.
Okay, so the Ak is basically Adam Kadmon. You write the Rashi Tevot of Adam Kadmon is Ak.
Nobody's saying Adam Kadmon, right?
Okay. It receives its nourishment from the Ein Sof. We can't speak of higher worlds than that of Adam Kadmon. Okay? Adam Kadmon is the highest realm that we can speak about, and above that, as far as we know, is the Ein Sof. And about the Ein Sof itself, like we said yesterday, we don't know anything to say besides of the fact that it is infinity, Ein Sof, there's no end. Right?
Okay.
So from Adam Kadmon downwards, so we can start to speak a little bit more. But even then, even for about Adam Kadmon, it's very, very limited. We can't say much, and as much as we can say, we can't really understand. And whatever we can understand, it is very, very it's basically it's very, very private kind of understanding. It's something that like to those realms of knowledge is very, very, there's no so much words that can transform this knowledge. So from those words, whatever you gain within your meditation, good for you. But once again, put it all with big question mark. You can't be sure about it. You have to give it a lot of time, probably years, to cook within you until you can start to think that maybe you have some kind of idea about those concepts. Okay? So, once again, we have the line, we call that Adam Kadmon, it has openings, and now we're starting to speak of one of the openings, one of the main ones, which is the mouth. Okay? The mouth of Adam Kadmon, there is light that comes out of there, and that light is what we call the world of Akudim. Okay, we know about the dream of Yaakov Avinu that he saw in his dream Akudim, Nekudim, and Budim. Right. So those three levels, Akudim, Nekudim, and Budim, is three stages within the creation, within the process of the creation. Okay? The Akudim is the highest world, which is above the Atzilut. We said that there is Adam Kadmon and then there's Atzilut, but really, in matter of fact, there is also another few stages in between. I'm not going to speak about all of them, just one as an example, the world of Akudim. That is basically the world that is above the Atzilut, and it starts from the mouth of Adam Kadmon and it goes down. And there within the Akudim is the first time we can speak really about vessels of the 10 Sefirot. Okay? So that's why this stage of creation is very significant for us, because from there, from the world of Akudim, we're learning about the process of the manifestation of the vessels of the Sefirot. Okay, even about the Akudim, it is so high that we can't really say that there's vessels there, but we are using that as a borrowed term. Really, the place of the vessels is under that in the world of Atzilut and the lower realms, but we are already starting to use this term. Okay? Then we're going down to the next world, which is called Nekudim. What is Nekudim? Is wherever the light of the Akudim stopped is extension. From there onwards, the light of the Nekudim reveals. Okay? As long as the light of the Akudim shines, it is so bright, it nullifies the light of the Nekudim. So only from the place where the Akudim end, then the Nekudim starts. Okay? And what is Nekudim? Literally, spots. Nekudot. Spots. Yeah? So the difference between the Akudim and the Nekudim, that by the Akudim, the light is all unite. Yeah? What is Akedah? Akedat Yitzchak. When Avraham Avinu was tying the legs and the hands together. Right? So also by the dream of Yaakov Avinu, what is Akudim in the flock of Yaakov Avinu? That they have like a bracelet on their feet, on their legs, like a sign of binding them. So that unity is found specifically in the Akudim. But in the Nekudim, we don't have this unity. It's spots. Each one have its place. Each one stands for itself. And because each one stands for itself and there's no unity, so that's why there is the concept of the shattering of the vessels. Okay? That concept of shattering of the vessels is one of the big subject matters that we're dealing with through the writings of the Arizal and the Rashash. And the reason is because our job is to finish the tikkun. So to be able to speak about the tikkun, to fix whatever got broken. So first we have to understand what got broken and how. Yeah? So I'm not going to go into the depths of the sugya, of the shattering of the vessels right now. But let's just say that because those vessels, those spots were not united, each one was standing for itself, like I said. So that's why they could not contain the light. So when the light came into those vessels, it was too much light and the vessel got broken. Yeah? So that's not what we want. We don't want to get broken. So we don't want too much light.
Is that what we're in this world now to do, to repair that? Those broken?
That's one of the biggest missions that we have in this world, It's not the only one, but it's definitely a big portion of it. Okay, so that light that is forming the nekudim coming out of the eyes of Adam Kadmon, and like I said, it breaks down, and when it falls down, it falls from the spectrum of the world of Atzilut down to the Bria, Yetzira, and Asiyah. Okay, so this is the way that those three lower worlds of Bria, Yetzira, and Asiyah got created. They got created from the breakdown. Okay, in a simple way. And then we have this next step, which will be the last step for today, that is called Brudim. Okay, so we have Akudim, Nekudim, and Brudim. What is Brudim? Brudim is the world of Tikkun, fixing the breakdown. So that light is the light that shines out of the forehead of Adam Kadmon, and it comes down and brings the broken pieces back to the place of the Atzilut, and the world of Atzilut after the Tikkun is called Brudim. Okay, and then what is Brudim? The quality of Brudim is lines. Yeah, so we had the Akudim, which is the light that is united in one vessel. We have the Nekudim, which is spots, then they break down, and then in the Tikkun we have lines. What's the difference between spots and lines? That there's lines, each one is enclosing the other, right? So there is a connection between them, right? And that's what is the significant point for us within the Tikkun right now. Obviously there's many other points, but we want to make it as simple as we can. So in the Tikkun we have the quality of the connection of each sphera to the other sphera. And then instead of calling that sphirot, we call that partsufim. Okay? The partsufim is the extension of the light. In the sphera is like concentrated in one place.
That's all right.
That's sphera. And partsuf is when it gets extended. So you have a line. Yeah, when you drawing a line. So first you make a dot with a pencil or pen, and then you bring it down, making a line, right? So also here we have a point, which is the dot, which is the nekudim, and then we draw down lines. Those lines are the partsufim. Okay, and then basically today we covered in about I don't know how long did they speak, about 40 minutes or so. We covered the infinity or Ein Sof, the contraction, Tzimtzum, the line, Adam Kadmon, 5 worlds, Atzilut, Bria, Yetzira, Asiyah, Akudim, Nekudim, and Brudim, the Sfirot, and the Partsufim. So I think that's much more than enough. It should have taken about probably 5 years to go through those concepts. But with the help of Hashem, I gave you some idea. I don't know what really you understand from what I'm saying, but I hope that you got some idea. And Bezrat Hashem, for tomorrow we will continue and speak more about the qualities of the 4 worlds, Asilut, Bria, Yetzira, Asiyah, and then we'll see where does it lead us and what will be the Mikdash practice that is coming out as the application of all of those concepts together. Bezrat Hashem. Thank you very much. All the blessings.